every human male looks like you, would you be able to distinguish who's who? We wouldn't recognize who's who. People have so much difficulty in recognizing even twins, right? Twins.
Yeah.
But if every human being, male, looked like you the same, handsome, smart, kind, generous, these are external qualities, but physical qualities, you would not be able to recognize anyone else. And if we was the case with a woman, for example, every woman looked like this lady here, you would not be able to recognize her. Because Samantha, Aisha, whatever, Deborah, what's your name? Everyone will look like you. We wouldn't know who is who. The fact that we are different is so that لِتَعَارَفُوا, so we can recognize each other. That's why, what's your name?
Ling.
I know you're Ling.
Yeah.
And you're Ahmed. Because of the physical characteristics. But I'm not putting you down in any way, shape or form. Just because you come from China and he comes from where you from? Syria. Yeah? So this is a mercy from God. This is a blessing from God that we are different like this. But our differences does not guarantee us or give us the right to discriminate anyone wrongly. Anyone who discriminates on the basis of language and color and so on, God says no, you can't do that. The only discrimination that you can do, not you, God does, is who is the most righteous, pious, God conscious. Atqaakum, Quran says. So, does that make sense to you? So far we've discussed about the reasons and the rationality of the Islamic faith, some of the teaching of Islam, some of the practical demonstration of what it means to be a Muslim, some of the reasons why we accept God, some of the reasons and some of the arguments why we know for certain God exists and God is one, some of the reasons and arguments why we know that God gives us guidance so that it's better for us. Does this make sense to you? So I would ask you to ask yourself, why and what is stopping you from accepting this beautiful way of life called Islam? Being a practitioner of this way, by calling yourself a Muslim, by submitting to your Creator. Ask yourself, what is stopping you? We invite you, we would like to, as Muslims, all of us, like to invite you wholeheartedly to Islam. Become a Muslim, so that you are successful not only in this life, but in the hereafter. You will be saved from the punishment of the hellfire, and you will be granted in place of paradise in eternal joy and happiness. This is our humble request, that you think deeply and you reflect sincerely with critical thinking what we have said, and then make your informed choice and says, yes, I want to be a Muslim. This is a choice that's between you and your Creator you have to make. If you're in any way you feel that yes, we can help you to make that journey to become a Muslim, you're more than welcome. So tell us, what is else that you need for you to be convinced? What else do you need to have that security, contentment, and that what we call conviction in your heart that Islam is true? We will try all our best to convey this message to you as best as we can. And if we have made any mistakes in our conveying to you, we apologize and we seek your forgiveness. What we are doing is trying to just share this message of Islam to you so that you, both of you, can make that decision yourself. So that ultimately you can say that I have submitted and surrendered to God willingly and sincerely. Isn't that what Islam means, Muslim means? Islam is a state of submission, willingly and sincerely, not by force. I cannot force my brother and say, become a Muslim, because you cannot make someone believe in their heart by force. It has to be internal conviction by choice. Yeah? So ask yourself, my friend, what was your name again? Ling. Ask yourself, what's your name? Ask yourself. You may have been brought in a particular family who practice certain religions in the East or here. But when we have the mind and the intellect, and we can use our critical thinking, that we know that we are not just a particle of dust floating around. We know that there is a Creator, and we know that our Creator deserves our worship. And we know, as we have described, the Quran demonstrates It is from our Creator. Ask yourself, what is stopping you from becoming a Muslim? Or how can we help you to become a Muslim? Do you have questions? Because we may be born in a family which becomes an obstacle. We may be in a particular geographical region which may become an obstacle. Like, how can I become a Muslim because Muslim means like an Arab religion? It's not. Do I look like an Arab? I'm not an Arab. Well, my brother is. But I have accepted Islam.
Where from?
I'm from Bangladesh.
Okay.
But I have accepted Islam. Even though I was born in a Muslim family, now I would want to accept Islam by willing choice. And that's what we do. We constantly renew our faith every day by submitting and surrendering to Allah, by making that sincere, informed declaration, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. There is no God worthy of worship except Allah, and Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. We make that declaration every day. How many times a day? Many times a day. We mean it because we understand it. We are convinced of it. So this is what you have to take that journey yourself. That journey you can only take yourself. If in any way we can help you with that journey, we are more than willing to help you. So I don't want to put you on the spot like I'm not someone who will ask you, become a Muslim now, but I'm going to ask you this. If it all makes sense, ask yourself, why would you not accept Islam to be your way of life, to be the one who will worship God, to be successful in the hereafter, to save yourself from the hellfire? Our parents are not going to help us in the hereafter. Because if our parents worship other than God, they themselves are in need of help. If our parents did not worship God and follow His commands and avoided His prohibitions, if our society, if our community didn't do that, they are in need of help. So don't rely on like our parents, our forefathers, our communities, our friends. They can help you. They need help themselves. We have to help ourselves to safeguard and to have that security to be safe from hellfire ourselves. Our own self. We have to make that choice. We have to make that. And don't delay it. Because do you know when we're going to die? Does anyone know for sure when you're going to die? You don't. We can die the next minute. I can fall dead the next minute. No guarantee. People die when they're young, when they're babies. We have no guarantee. In Islam, we believe life and death is fixed. We have to fulfill our purpose of life within this time frame. If we delay it too longer to the point where death is approaching us, and then we say, now we believe, it will be not accepted. Because when someone is coerced, because you know now the truth, because the angel of death is coming to take your soul away, that is not going to be acceptable. You failed your purpose. You failed your tests. So we have to submit ourselves to God before death comes to us. And death can come to us anytime. So do reflect on what we say, what we have said so far. And Ling and Pal or Pat? Pal? Ask this question to yourself. Ask yourself, what is stopping me from becoming a Muslim? What am I losing? Friends? Family? Job? You are gaining paradise and you're losing hellfire. Man zuhziha anin nar wa udkhila al-jannah faqad faz. Whosoever has saved themselves from the hellfire and entered paradise, they have attained success. That's the Quranic message. So, what we are afraid of? You afraid of losing your family and friends and so on and so forth? You are gaining paradise and saving yourself from hellfire. That is the ultimate success. The ultimate success is not getting your PhD. The ultimate success is to be saved from the hellfire. And hellfire is no joke. The fire that burns, the fuel or fuel? I can't pronounce it properly. The fuel, right? The fuel is man and stones. Back in the early days, people may have not appreciated how can stones be a fuel for fire. Now we know even certain stones, they can produce so much heat. Don't people cook with stones? Now they do. When they go in camping now, you can heat up the stones and they can cook over it because the fire stays longer and stronger. So the hellfire, the fuel of the hellfire is human beings and stones. Can you imagine that? Human beings will provide the fuel for hellfire. May God save us. May God save those people from this hellfire, every one of us. But if people are arrogant and stubborn, they make their own destiny. They make their own destiny. They make their own consequence. We can only say, don't do that. Because that destiny is such a destiny which is, you do not want even your enemies to go there. Have you ever burnt accidentally? Touching the fire and you did that. It was so painful. Hellfire is much hotter and stronger than this. We don't want to be. When the drinks hot boiling water and pus is given when they're thirsty, that's the drink will be given and it will burn their throats. No recourse, no comfort in hellfire. It's not what some people think, you know what? All the celebrities, all the wealthiest and the richest, the wicked people are going to hellfire. I'll be with them, we'll be happy. No, there is no happiness in hellfire. There is no joy in hellfire. There's constant suffering. There is something called the tree of Zaqqum. It's so bitter that when you eat of it, your stomach will burst. We don't want to have this kind of food or the drinks in hellfire. We don't want to be in a place which is constant fire burning us. Paradise, on the other hand, you will be reclining on couches. There will be rivers underneath the gardens that you'll have. Whatever you wish, it will come to you. You want some food, comes to you. Just like that. You eat, you don't feel any constipation, or you don't feel there's any diarrhea. You will not feel any hunger, because you're eating only for joy and pleasure. When you want to drink, you drink, and you don't need to even go to the toilets to urinate. There will be no defecation and urination. When you drink drinks, God describes in the Quran like wine, but that wine is not going to befog your mind. It is a purified wine that will be pleasant to drink, but it will not befog your mind. So all that is there in paradise, in heaven, is joy, is pleasure. You'll have pleasure, company of your spouse, company of your friends, and not only this, the most utmost pleasure that you can have is seeing your God who created you. The people in hellfire would not have the vision of God, of the Creator. Do we not want to know who this God is, who is always in existence, who is always there with all this power and might and knowledge? I want to know this God. You will see and have, on that day, you will see this God. إِلَى رَبِّهَا نَاظِرَةٌ. Yeah? The faces will be bright on that day. How does the ayah go? Yeah? On that day the faces will be bright by looking at their Lord. So we will have this countenance of God in paradise. That is the ultimate reward that you can have. Ultimate reward. Just imagine, whatever you want is there in paradise. So this paradise, to go there, there's only one thing we have to do. In this life, fulfill our purpose that we're created for. There are people who have been told this and they will still disobey God. And they will be so arrogant and they reject God and not fulfill that. Who is to blame? God, who constantly reminds them, don't do that, but be good, follow the commands, avoid the prohibitions, and still they do that. That stubbornness and arrogance is the one that they will then say, this is our making. We don't want anyone to be there. We want to save ourselves from the hellfire. So this is a copy of the Quran in English language, a gift from us.
Okay, thank you.
Read. and a brief guide to Islam and a concept of God to Islam. What we said, do reflect. And if you are willing to accept Islam and say, now I want to become a Muslim, go ahead. If you want to take some time, also fine.
So thank you for your information today.
Okay? So it's a pleasure speaking to you both.
Thank you.
We just hope that you continue your journey of discovery of Islam, the truth of Islam. And when you find it, take it. Accept it. Is that?
Thank you for
Yeah?
your information.
Thank you. Take care, and may God help you in this journey. Okay? Take care. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.
جزاك الله خير.
بارك الله فيك.
I said ila rabbika nasira, but I think you didn't hear.
Shahada.
Okay.
You did took shahada.
All right.
Long conversation.